They said humans were extinct, that Earth was dust, and its people forgotten. They said no one could hear a scream in the vacuum of space. But tonight, in the heart of Garnath 7, the galaxy will hear one thing loud and clear: the roar of a tiny army, too small to see, and too dangerous to survive. They thought the rumors were a joke, a glitch in the system, perhaps a rival's pathetic attempt at fear tactics. But General Kralvek didn't laugh. Not yet. He sat on his throne of bone and steel, a single, clawed hand clenched tightly, his obsidian eyes flickering as the transmission played again. A distorted voice crackled through the chamber. Garnath burns tonight, not by giants, by men. Krall's lieutenants fidgeted, uncertain. He rose, towering above them, armored plates grinding. Silence that filth. If humans could burn Garnath, they'd still have a planet. Laughter followed, nervous and hollow. Outside, the skies of Garnath 7 were stained red by the fires of conquest. Krall's war beasts, bioengineered monstrosities, marched through the rubble of a rival clan. The city of Vralan had fallen in hours. Krall surveyed the devastation from his command tower, the scent of scorched metal thick in the air. "General, we've secured the quantum ore reserves. No sign of resistance," his aide reported. Krall snorted. "No resistance? Then why waste?" "My time with ghost stories?" The aide hesitated. "A symbol was found," carved into the commander's skull. Krall's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The image appeared, crude but unmistakable. A human symbol, old Terran military, the mark of the Terran Defense Corps. "This is impossible," Krall muttered. "Shall I investigate, General?" "No. You'll reinforce our borders and find me the source of that message." Deep beneath the ruined city, Commander Ray's Colthorn watched the transmission from a flickering console. His face was shadowed, scarred, his eyes burning with purpose. Around him, soldiers no taller than a hand-loaded micro-rift charges, their armor sleek, their movements precise. "Report," Colthorn growled. "Operation Phantom Tooth complete. The ore reserves are rigged. We'll shut his beast down in 6 hours. Colthorn nodded, eyes never leaving the screen. "Let him laugh. Let him think we're gone. Then we strike, and we make him remember why they feared us." One of the tiny soldiers grinned. "Permission to carve our name into the next one, sir?" Colthorn's voice was a low snarl. "Permission granted." Kralvek's fortress loomed, a testament to brute strength and arrogance. His engineers worked frantically, sealing entry points, recalibrating scanners, searching for the unseen enemy. The general paced, claws tapping against the cold floor. "They are not real," he muttered. "Humans are extinct." "Then why is our ore shipment missing?" another aide asked. Krall turned, eyes blazing. "Because you are incompetent." A sudden explosion rocked the chamber. Lights flickered. The ground trembled. "What now?" Krall roared. "Sir, the war beasts! They're out of control!" Krall rushed to the viewport. His monstrosities, once obedient, now tore through his own ranks. Screams filled the air. "Shut them down! We can't! Their neural links are compromised!" Krall bellowed, smashing the console. "Find them! Find them!" Colthorn watched the chaos unfold. His team moved in silence, dismantling Krall's power grid node by node. The fortress groaned under its own weight. "This is too easy," one soldier whispered. "Not easy," Colthorn corrected. "Calculated." A flicker of movement, an alarm. "Extraction compromised," came the warning. Colthorn's eyes narrowed. "No extraction. We finish this now." Krall stormed into the control room, tossing a technician aside. His eyes locked onto the main screen where a familiar face now stared back. "Colthorn," he spat. "Still alive, Krall?" Colthorn's voice was ice. "You didn't finish the job. You should have stayed dead." Colthorn leaned forward. "You should have killed me when you had the chance." Krall slammed his fist into the console. "You're nothing. A relic! A ghost! A ghost with teeth, Colthorn growled. Behind Crawl, systems began to fail. Lights died. The floor shook violently. This is your end, Colthorn. No, Colthorn said calmly. It's yours. With a final command, the charges detonated. The war beasts collapsed. The fortress began to crumble. Kral screamed, but Colthorn was already gone, his soldiers vanishing into the shadows. Above, Garnath 7 burned, and the galaxy heard, for the first time in centuries, the roar of human vengeance. Kral Vek stood in the war chamber, the stink of failure crawling over him like rot. Screens flickered, data scrambled, and none of his generals dared speak. His claws clicked on the metal floor as he paced, silent fury building. Tell me how a myth carves my commander's skull. Tell me now. A trembling officer stepped forward, eyes averted. We found no intruders, General. No trace of entry. The security grid failed, Kral snapped. The security grid failed. They left something else, the officer croaked, holding out a small, warped object. Kral snatched it, eyes narrowing at the tiny device. A micro-rift. Detonator, human tech, but impossibly small. This is a joke, he muttered. No, General, another voice said. It's a message. Kral turned sharply. His chief engineer, Vark, approached, holding a data chip. This was found in the control nexus. Kral inserted it into the holotable, and the image of a man appeared. Human, scarred, fierce, and all too familiar. Kral Vek, Colthorn's voice filled the chamber, calm and venomous. You once sold Earth for power. Now you've run out of places to hide. The ghosts you made are coming. Kral crushed the device. Colthorn, I killed you. You tried. Kral spun toward his officers. I want his head. I want every inch of this city scanned. Tear apart the walls if you must. Outside, the chaos hadn't stopped. War beasts roamed uncontrolled, and soldiers whispered of shadows that killed. Entire patrols vanished, leaving only blood and the Terran insignia scorched into metal. Kral stormed to the hangar, his towering mech-armored guards falling in line. Activate the cradle. Lure him out. But General, the cradle isn't. It will be. Make it ready. As Kral prepared his trap, Colthorn watched from beneath the city. His eyes tracked the patterns, the shifting guard rotations, the power surges. The enemy thought themselves gods. Colthorn would remind them that humans didn't need gods. They just needed rage. We hit them at the heart, Colthorn ordered. While they chase ghosts, we got their command. His second in command, a grizzled veteran named Dax, adjusted his weapon. And the cradle? It's bait. We take the head, the body dies. Dax nodded. Small strike, fast burn? Colthorn's lips curled. No, we go loud. The tiny army moved like shadows, slipping into the cracks of the alien stronghold, bypassing the impossible. Where others saw walls, they saw weaknesses. They weren't just soldiers. They were vengeance made flesh. Kral stood in his private chamber, watching the cradle's power levels rise. A weapon designed to unleash pure chaos, to trap and incinerate anything within. Come, Colthorn, he muttered. Come and die properly. The first explosion shook the tower. Kral's comm crackled. Intruders! Inside the command center! Kral's heart pounded. How? How? Another blast. Lights died. Then the voice, again, in the dark. You left the door open! Kral roared, tearing his way through the corridors, his guards falling as rift bombs exploded with precision. His breath came in ragged growls, his world collapsing. At the heart of his fortress, Colthorn stood, small, defiant, unafraid. Around him, the tiny army dismantled Kral's legacy. Kral charged. I killed your world! Colthorn didn't flinch. And now I'll bury yours. They clashed, Titan and Ghost, rage against precision. Krawl's blows shattered walls, but Kolthorn's strikes cut deeper, each word another wound. You betrayed us. I survived. You sold Earth. I won. You lost everything. Krawl fell, gasping, bleeding from a dozen tiny cuts that burned like fire. Kolthorn stood over him, weapon raised. Extinct? No. We evolved. And with one final strike, humanity's myth became nightmare. The cradle roared to life, its core pulsing with raw energy as Kralvek stood at its helm, claws gripping the control rails. "Let him come," he growled, fangs bared. "Let him bleed for every inch he dares take." Around him, the fortress vibrated with the hum of anticipation. The cradle was no mere trap. It was annihilation incarnate, forged to vaporize anything foolish enough to enter its heart. Yet Kolthorn wasn't a fool. He was a man with one purpose. He watched the energy readings spike from his command post deep within the bowels of Kral's territory. "He thinks we're walking in blind," Kolthorn muttered. "He forgets who taught him fear." Dax's voice crackled in his ear. "Perimeter breached. 3 units down. No casualties on our side. We're in position." "Good," Kolthorn replied. "We take the cradle. We take him." Kral's voice thundered over the comms. "Kolthorn, hiding again, afraid to face me? Or have you finally accepted your extinction?" Kolthorn activated his link, voice cold. "You talk like a god, Kral, but bleed like any beast, and I've come to make you bleed," Kral roared, slamming his fist into the console, sparks flying. "Come then!" The cradle's gates opened, exposing the core, a churning mass of destructive power ready to collapse into a singularity at Kral's command. He didn't just want Kolthorn dead, he wanted his memory erased, his legacy shattered. Kolthorn moved. His team advanced, weaving through enemy fire, small but lethal. One by one, Kral's defenses fell, not through brute strength, but through precision, through understanding the flaws of giants. Where Kral relied on overwhelming force, Kolthorn trusted in human cunning, in the grit that no alien could comprehend. Breaching. Level 5, Dax reported. "Core in sight." "Engage the locks," Kolthorn ordered. "Trap him in his own beast." Kral, pacing like a caged animal, sensed the shift. The cradle's systems flickered. "What have you done?" Kolthorn's voice echoed again. "We've rewired your monster. The cradle's not your weapon anymore. It's your tomb." Kral lunged for the controls, but too late. The cradle's core began to destabilize, energy spiraling out of control. "You dare!" he screamed. Kolthorn stepped into the chamber, armor scorched, eyes unflinching. "You betrayed Earth for this power, Kral. Now drown in it." Kral charged, claws wide, fury unchained. "I made you!" Kolthorn met him, dodging, striking. "No, Kral, you made this war, and you lost it the moment you thought we'd stay." Dead. The cradle's core flared, systems collapsing. Kral staggered, rage turning to desperation. "This planet dies with me." "Maybe," Kolthorn said, planting a final charge. "But you die first." He triggered the device. A pulse rippling through the chamber. Kral fell, body broken, the cradle imploding around him. Kolthorn turned, voice steady. "Extraction! Now!" Dax's voice came through. "Route clear!" Kolthorn ran, the fortress crumbling. Behind him, the cradle consumed itself, erasing Kralvek, erasing his empire. As Kolthorn emerged into the burning night, he looked back once, eyes hard. "Let them know," he whispered. "Let them all know." The tiny army had won, and humanity, forgotten no more, had returned to take what was theirs. Smoke curled from the ruins of the cradle as the sky above Garnath 7 turned black with ash. The fortress that once symbolized Kralvek's invincibility now sagged under its own weight, gutted from within. But Ray's Colthorn didn't stop to admire his work. There was more to finish. Kral was not dead yet. Not until Colthorn drove the last nail into him. "Status," Colthorn barked, running through corridors lit by flickering firelight. Dax's voice cut in, sharp and focused. "Cradle's gone. Primary systems offline. Krall's retreating. To the Nexus core." "He won't make it far." Colthorn picked up speed, each step pushing through debris and fallen bodies. The tiny army wasn't far behind, slipping through vents, flanking the last remnants of Krall's forces. Resistance was minimal now, scattered, disoriented. They had seen the impossible. They had seen giants fall to men no bigger than their fists. Kralvek stumbled through the Nexus core, clawing at the controls, blood streaming from gashes that burned with unfamiliar agony. His breathing was ragged, limbs heavy. The cradle's energy had seared more than his skin. It had burned away the illusion of dominance. The myth of his own strength now hollow. Yet he wasn't ready to die. He slammed a fist into the command pillar, activating the last emergency protocol. A low hum filled the chamber. "I'll bury this planet before I let him have it," he growled. The countdown began. Core meltdown in 5 minutes. Colthorn's boots hit the steel just outside the Nexus. He didn't slow. "He's triggering the core," Dax warned. "I know." Colthorn drew his weapon, a compact pulse blade humming with blue light. "Keep the team out. This is mine." He entered. The Nexus alone, stepping into the heart of the beast. Krall turned, eyes wide with a hatred sharpened by fear. "Still standing, Colthorn? Or just too stupid to die?" "Stupid enough to think you were finished." Colthorn shot back, stepping closer, unshaken. Krall laughed, hollow and broken. "You're too late. This world ends, and you with it." "You think this is about a world?" Colthorn's voice dropped to a growl. "It's about you." Krall lunged, a desperate wide strike. Colthorn ducked, blade flashing. Sparks flew as steel met alien hide, blood spattering the console. Krall howled, spinning, claws slashing. Colthorn sidestepped, driving his shoulder into the larger man, sending him crashing into the wall. "You betrayed Earth," Colthorn snarled, pressing the attack. "I survived Earth!" Krall roared, swiping wildly. "They begged! I chose power!" "You chose weakness." Colthorn feinted, pivoted, and drove his blade deep into Krall's side. Krall roared, fists pounding Colthorn's chest, throwing him back. He staggered, gasping, but didn't fall. He wiped the blood from his lips and charged again. "I don't need power to kill you." The two collided, a storm of rage and steel. Each strike a promise, each wound a memory of the worlds they lost. The countdown echoed in the background. 3 minutes. 2. Krall grabbed Colthorn's throat, lifting him off the ground. "You should have stayed dead." Colthorn's eyes locked onto his. "So should you." He swung his blade, slicing through Krall's wrist. The giant screamed, releasing him. Colthorn landed hard, but rolled, grabbed the fallen claw, and with a final, brutal shove, plunged it into Krall's chest. Krall staggered, breath hitching, eyes wide with disbelief. "No!" Colthorn leaned in close, voice like steel. "We don't need to be big to destroy you." Krall collapsed, the life draining from him as the Nexus lights dimmed. The core countdown continued, relentless. Colthorn limped to the console, hands flying over the alien interface. "Dax, core shutdown in progress. I need time." "Negative. Extraction's closing. If you're not out in 60... I said I need time." The system fought him, locking him out at every turn. Sweat mixed with blood on his brow as he bypassed protocol after protocol. 30 seconds. A final code. A last surge of power. The core flickered, then fell silent. "Shutdown complete," the system announced. Colthorn exhaled, stumbling back, chest heaving. He stared at Krall's body one last time. "That's for Earth." Dax's voice broke through. Sir? Status? It's done. Colthorn straightened, heading for the exit. Let's finish this. Colthorn emerged from the Nexus, steps slow but steady, the smoke of the dying fortress swirling around him. Dax stood waiting, helmet tucked under one arm, eyes scanning the broken sky. Thought we lost you? Colthorn didn't answer. His gaze swept the horizon, watching as the last of Krall's war beasts stumbled and collapsed, their neural links severed, their masters dead or fled. Garnath 7, once a symbol of alien dominance, now lay in ruin. The message had been sent, but it wasn't loud enough. Not yet. Status report, Colthorn said, voice sharp despite the exhaustion creeping into his bones. Minimal casualties. Extraction route is clear. The Oblivion Shard is in orbit and awaiting orders. Colthorn nodded, eyes narrowing. Prepare. The core. Dax hesitated. You sure about that? I'm not here to conquer this place, Dax. I'm here to erase it. Colthorn stepped past him, the weight of command settling like old armor. Krall was just the start. The comlink crackled. Commander, incoming transmission. Multiple sectors are broadcasting. News of Garnath. They saw what we did. Colthorn smirked, blood drying on his face. Good. Let them see. Dax walked beside him as they headed for the extraction point. You think they'll come for us now? They won't have a choice. Colthorn's voice was low, measured. They thought we were extinct. They thought we'd forget. Now they'll remember. High above, the Oblivion Shard hovered, cloaked in darkness, its weapons systems primed. Colthorn boarded in silence, the crew parting before him with nods of grim respect. He made his way to the command deck, taking his place before the main console. The stars stretched wide beyond the viewport, and Garnath 7 burned below. Target locked, a technician reported. Planetary destabilizer ready on your command. Colthorn's fingers hovered over the control. Memories surged. Earth's final days, Krall's betrayal, the silence that followed. He clenched his fist. Initiate. A beam of blinding light lanced from the shard, piercing the planet's crust. Garnath trembled, fissures splitting continents, oceans boiling away in violent storms. Colthorn watched, unblinking, as the surface fractured, as mountains collapsed into flame. Dax stood behind him. You just declared war on every warlord in the quadrant. Colthorn turned. No. They declared war when they wiped out Earth. I'm just answering. The broadcast went live, every corner of the quadrant receiving it. Colthorn stood tall, the Terran insignia glowing behind him. This is Commander Ray's Colthorn. Garnath is gone, Krall is dead, and humanity lives. He let the silence stretch, heavy with meaning. We are not seeking peace. We are not here to beg. We are here to take. You wanted us gone. You failed. And now, we're coming for the rest of you. The feed cut. Across the galaxy, warlords paused, their bravado faltering. The myth of human extinction was shattered. The terror of their return had begun. Colthorn stared at the ashes of Garnath, voice a whisper meant for no one but himself. Let them fear. The small... Dax stepped forward. Orders, sir? Next target, Colthorn said, eyes already on the stars. We're just getting started.